And we are live. Good
Yes, we are
morning,
live.
Texas, Louisiana. Joining us on TV on the Smart Money Culture TV network. Good morning, world, as we stream across the stratosphere. Hello, Sir David Porter. How are you?
Hello, doing well. Everything is on the up and up, and we are loving life out here in Ireland.
Very nice out there in Ireland. So, gold is up, Bitcoin is up, oil is up. Stocks can't decide. They're like tepid across the futures and as well the Asian markets. They are tepid. And then, of course, the CIA has been trending for days since this attack in Russia. Absolutely horrible attack that happened there. Really, really sad.
Yeah,
The as
terrible.
well, of course, Congress, the U.S. Congress passed this funding bill, $1.2 trillion, without very much of a whimper from anybody, really. And that funds everything. That funds all the wars. So that's all going to continue. Of course, no funding for the border or anything like that. Of course, nothing there. But as we were talking about actually last week, I feel like it funds the invasion. They like to fund wars, and the invasion is part of their war, right? That's a very profitable thing. As more and more people come into the country, they issue more bonds for those people. Those bonds are traded on the open market. More money gets issued, and everybody makes more money. So they don't want to stop that. As it seems, they don't want to stop it.
Yeah, the business of human trafficking seems to be that the U.S. corporation is number one.
The U.S. corporation is number one. That's absolutely correct. Um, so that means, of course, inflation is going to continue to run really rampant. That $1.2 trillion, I did the math on that. If you divide 1.2 trillion by 340 million Americans, that's about $3,500 per person per American. I said it was about $10,000 per household, and people gave me some pushback, and so I did it by American. It's even worse. So a house of four is sitting well over $10,000 if you do it like that. So that's you're going to feel that in inflation. Inflation's going to rise. I don't know. I actually went to Starbucks and got a cup of coffee and a latte for Bella, my daughter, over the weekend, and I couldn't believe it. It was like $10 for
Mhm.
a small latte and a large coffee.
Yeah, a lot of multimillionaires avoid Starbucks. They won't even spend too much on
I
Starbucks.
don't. I'm like, no, I refuse. Really, but my youngest daughter, we had a 6 a.m. Practice, and then she had another practice after that, and then something else after that. She's Dad, she's like texting me. I don't know if I can survive without a latte. I'm like, all right, fine. You know. So yeah, $10 for a latte and a cup of coffee from Starbucks, and that's crazy. That is a crazy number, guys. That is inflation, and it's going to get worse.
Yeah, but you can't beat that Starbucks kick, man. Starbucks is some good coffee.
I buy it and brew it at home.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do like the coffee. They put something. Let's be honest. There's something in there. There's something in the Starbucks coffee. Come on, guys. I mean, if you
Maybe
don't
they,
have it, if my wife doesn't have it, she gets a headache.
yeah, maybe they
For
changed the
me, I'm fine.
molecule or something.
They did something in it. It's like Coke with cocaine or something. It's not really that, but something like that. I feel like there's something that they do. What did you say? A molecule? It's a molecule.
Yeah,
Molecule.
they split the molecule. Now you have two caffeine molecules in one.
Something. They got a free floating molecule in there or something. Um so yeah, that's why of course gold and Bitcoin and everything is up. Oil sticky over 80 as we've been forecasting here for quite a while that was going to move up. That of course is going to bring inflation up too. It's pretty hard though to get your head around what that inflation is going to look like. So that $10 for a latte, a small latte, and a coffee is going to be $15 or $20. That's going to be. At what point do people start realizing that it might be Tea Party time?
Yeah, right.
Yeah, like at what point? We got the slow boil over here. We got the slow boil on the frog. The frog is slow boiling. It's been slow boiling for a long time, and nobody knows what to do. So gold, of course, is up as well. You can buy gold at cost at cost metals at costmetals.com. Use referral link clubs with an S, CLUBS. You can also go to at costmetals.club, and that should forward you there. But it's a little tricky sometimes. So you go to .com and you put in clubs for the referral link. Buy gold, silver, palladium, platinum at cost. And you should probably not be sitting on a whole bunch of dollars at this moment, because we're gonna feel this as it goes out. So $1.2 trillion, it funds everything that you don't want it to fund. It reads like a list of horrors. It's bad. And then right as they approve it, what happens, of course, just like when they did the last funding bill or something, or then there was the attack, Persigon or whatever decided to do his rebellion over there in Russia. It was like we passed the bill, and then Persigon or whatever decides to do his rebellion and march on Russia. So it's like, obviously, probably got paid to do it, I would think. And then this time we have this horrible attack over in Russia. CIA trends for days. Nobody really thinks that. Well, first of all, first thing you have to understand is that ISIS was started by the U.S. and Israel. And actually, I put it out in a tweet. Our good friend Ron Paul. It's amazing, actually, how much Ron Paul was right about everything, and how all these years later we're still looking at Ron Paul.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean, this guy should have been the president. They shut it down. I'm old enough to remember. They shut it down. They did not let him become president. Here he is right here.
What's happening in the Middle East, in particular with Gaza right now, we have some moral responsibility for both sides
as well.
in a way, because we provide help and funding for both Arab nations and Israel. And so we definitely have a moral responsibility, and especially now today, the weapons being used to kill so many Palestinians are American weapons, and American funds essentially are being used for this. But there's a political liability, which I think is something that we fail to look at, because too often there's so much blowback from our intervention in areas that we shouldn't be involved in. You know, Hamas, if you look at the history, you'll find out that Hamas was encouraged and really started by Israel, because they wanted Hamas to counteract Yasser Arafat. And you say, well, yeah, that was better then and served its purpose, but we didn't want Hamas to do this. So then we as Americans say, well, we have such a good system, we're going to impose this on the world. We're going to invade Iraq and teach people how to be Democrats. We want free elections. So we encourage the Palestinians to have a free election. They do, and they elect Hamas. So we first indirectly and directly through Israel help establish Hamas. Then we have election. Then Hamas becomes dominant, so we have to kill them. You know, it just doesn't make sense. During the 80s, you know, we were allied with Osama bin Laden. And we were contending with the Soviets. It was at that time our CIA thought it was good if we radicalized the Muslim world. So we financed the madrasa schools to radicalize the Muslims in order to compete with the Soviets. There's too much blowback. There's a lot of reasons why we should oppose this resolution. It is not in the interest of the United States. It's not in the interest of Israel either.
Now, of course, a long time ago, but it just shows you kind of the, you know, and of course, many know at this point, many still don't know, but Osama bin Laden was a CIA asset for years. he was funded and trained and all this stuff by the CIA. CIA operates basically as an arm or as the deep state. It's funded by the central banks, has unlimited funding from paper money, from paper fiat money, and it answers really to nobody at all. And most people think, and that's why it trended for days, most people feel like the CIA was behind the attack in Russia. So it remains to be seen. I hope that we don't get hit. I hope that we don't get hit, guys. But best thing I think people can do is diversify your assets. Make sure that you have, and we're not financial advisors, but make sure that you have different things like gold and silver and stocks and Bitcoin and stuff like this. But Bitcoin, especially gold and silver, especially things that you can hold on to that are harder to take or harder to inflate and stuff like this, because I don't know, it's crazy. It's crazy. What a horrible, it was a horrible attack over there as well. And it wasn't like, normally if these radical groups do an attack like this, they go down and it's like a suicide type attack. But this time, they were like trying to get away and, everything else, run into the border. So that a lot of indications there that was a CIA op. And I think most people in the world think it was a CIA op. And that's why it's been trending for days. So pretty crazy stuff. I'm going to go back on my tab over here. I want to look at some of the Asian markets. The Hong Kong Stock Exchange is pretty flat, down slightly, but very flat. 16,473 it's at, down about at 15 basis points. Oil, as I said, is up slightly, but it's floating around here around this 80, 82 range for the last week or so. It's been in here, 80 up to 83, I guess, in this channel here. So we are watching that closely. Obviously, that has a lot of implications for us here actually, it has a lot of implications for the world, because the US dollar is transacted in so many different things. But as this inflation continues to run rampant, which is going to probably keep rising. Natural gas finally kind of stabilized. Isn't that funny?
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, it's down actually a decent amount today. Sorry, I take that back. Almost 2.5%. The Houthis have continued to cause all kinds of problems over there. Of course, we covered it last week. They let me just go here, market cap. Global Boost, of course, we have a lot of stuff coming out with Global Boost. If you look at our GitHub, we just made moved a bunch of stuff over to the main GitHub. We're been testing the ordinals, inscribing on each Satoshi, which is called a boost in Global Boost. So that's going to be pretty exciting as we roll that out. We have, of course, Bitcoin, the mighty Bitcoin. And I know Matt's going to talk about this. Matt's going to join us at the opposite side of the break here. But he's going to talk about some of the big ones here and how much they've gained and everything. So I don't want to take too much away from that, but up over 3%, almost 3.5% Bitcoin, 67,272, big move. Ethereum about the same, up on nearly 3%. BNB, I think, has not been liking Solana stealing some of the spotlight. And so they have been moving. They have been moving. Solana flipped BNB for a minute there, up over 5% on the week. Let's look on the week. Okay, 3.5% on the month, though. 54% on the month. Look at that. That is major. Of course, Solana flipped BNB there for a minute, and you can look right here how close they are. That's their market caps. 149 billion on BNB and 144 billion on Solana. So that's how close those two are. Solana, I clicked the wrong one here. XRP is flat today. And then I'll go back to Solana since I have XRP up here. But Solana is up nearly 10% today. Look at that. Wow. 190. That is jamming. That's jamming. So that's pretty interesting. Of course, the gold is up. It's holding these gains though. You know, gold is a slow mover, up about 0.5%. And if you look at the month, it's up 7.5% on the month. So that's a pretty big move. It was down here around this 2,000 range from about when we started doing the show in December until last week. It was around that 2,000 range. Went up to like 220.70. I don't know if it ever really dipped below 1,000, but it was in that range, and then it just moved up to the range it's in now, and it has continued to stay there. I think probably, I mean, as the U.S. dollar continues to inflate, we expect that to move down. Remember, you can buy gold, silver, palladium, platinum at cost at atcostmetals.club. Use our referral code clubs there. So pretty interesting stuff. I think we're going to bring Matt on in just a second. And after that, I want to talk a little bit more about the bill that Congress passed. It is an absolute abomination. And as I said, so if you have a family of 4, $3,500 per person, per American is what that costs. That's $14,000 per American. I mean, per household if you have 2 kids in your house. I mean, it's an absolute crazy number. I don't know how they feel like they can keep putting this on the backs of Americans. I don't know where it stops. Maybe Matt will have some insight for us. Let me look here. Are we back from commercial on Smart Money? We are, Sir Matt, the great Matt Dixon. Welcome to the
morning,
show.
David. Good morning, Bruce. Morning, America, everybody. Good to be here.
Yes.
Yeah. Let's get straight into sharing some screen. We've had some big moves. Solana, as you say, has been one that we're going to look at today.
Solana's big move. Make sure to follow Matt. Matt is at MD Trade. Oops. That might have been me running across my thing. Matt is MD Trade on X. And of course, Evai, EVAI_IO. Did I add it to the thing too quickly? Want me to pull you back down?
Hopefully you can see that.
Yeah, we got the Market Watch thing here.
Great.
Yep.
Okay, so you mentioned about dollar index. This is one that I posted on my X account recently. Just looking at the long term, and it's just interesting that, you know, right from the long term, we're looking back from 2022 here with the US dollar. We've been following even longer term than that. We've been following a parallel channel, but within the parallel channel, we actually have a trend line that we've been following from the top of the channel here, this red trend line downwards, touching the top of the dollar index there, touching here. And we just touched it a couple of days ago again. So this is solid overhead resistance. So it means there's potential, strong potential for the dollar to move down from here. And I just looked ahead at what the GDP expectations are for the US, because I was wondering why Fed Chair Powell was talking about 3 interest rate cuts this year. He must know something that we perhaps don't know. He will have known what the GDP projection is, and this is obviously looking back. GDP is always looking backwards, of course, but the figures which are to be released Thursday are set to show a very substantial slowdown in GDP in America toward the end of last year. So we'll see if that follows through, but that actually fits in tune with my expectation that we're heading towards recession in the US. And that's why he's talking about 3 interest rate cuts, and that's why the US dollar has just hit overhead resistance. And I won't show it here today, but there's also, when you look at, this is on the very compressed candles, if you open them out quite a bit, we have what's called triple bearish divergence on the US dollar, which basically means that we're seeing higher highs on price and lower highs on RSI, when you stretch it out, you'll be able to see that. So triple bearish divergence. So there's strong indications. We have overhead resistance in place, we have triple bearish divergence, and we have some bearish candlesticks already. So potentially the US dollar is set to turn to the downside. This could usher in a further rally in assets, risk assets, Bitcoin, and so on. So we'll just look at the S&P 500, look at where that's likely to go. So from that, again, we've got another one of these overhead channels, and you just look at you just put a line from the peaks as we've done here, here, and here. And you can see that that was the obvious potential turning point there, and it did turn on the dot. And then the price is very choppy. And when we see choppy movement, as we said in previous shows, this choppy overlapping movement is what's called corrective movement. It means that the overall trend is still towards the upside for the S&P 500. And so this choppy movement, downward movement, should give way to new upward movement to go to new highs above this. And I suspect we'll even break above this overhead channel resistance here to go for longer term parallel channel resistance higher up. And it also coincides with a Fibonacci level at about 5,350. So I think that will be strong resistance. Not saying it's definitely the end of the move, but I do think that we are headed for some upside movement in the S&P 500. And that would align with weaker dollar that we just looked at on the previous chart. So this is Solana, and it's a lovely chart. And again, I mentioned this on previous shows that we're working on a triangle. I posted this, and you can check my X account. I posted this Saturday and Sunday whilst we're down here in wave E of the triangle. And I said that this being a triangle is what's called a pre-terminal move. In Elliott wave terms, they only occur in either a B wave or an X wave or a wave 4 position. So they're all corrections, always corrective with a triangle in those situations. So following a correction, you expect to move to the upside. But this, as I say, is called a pre-terminal move. Wave 4 is pre-terminal. Wave 5 out of it is called the terminal move, meaning the final move within the whole cycle that we're looking at here in Solana. So that being the case, we expected a strong push to the upside. Now, I was positioned for this, and I tried to give everybody good warning in advance down at 171 area here at the end of the B wave that we're likely to break higher in a terminal push to the upside. That terminal thrust should actually take us quite a lot higher. And I've done some various calculations using Fibonacci extensions and so on. No absolute certainty ever, but it's looking like we're going to challenge the previous all-time high on Solana, which was previously 258. So I think we will eventually, well, say eventually, not too distant future, challenge that. Then we may get some kind of pullback at that point. I think that's reasonably likely. So what was interesting here, from the E wave, we saw this beginning of the terminal thrust to the upside. So what normally happens is you break through the overhead resistance, which was this diagonal line here. We broke through it. And then what you normally do is retest it before you then take off to the upside. And you can see that is precisely what happened, even with this shadow here. It just spiked below a retest and failed going down and started moving up sharply. So as Bruce just said, I think we're up about 10% today. It's been a fantastic trade. Triangles, for me, are the most predictive wave formation that you can have. So from a trading perspective, they are very close to certainty. There is never 100% certainty, but they are the closest thing, as far as I'm concerned, to certainty within trade formations, trade setups. So when you see a triangle setup like this, made up of an A, B, C, D, E, and they're all corrective waves within the triangle, then following it, you get the terminal thrust, and we should move to higher than here at least. So I would have a take profit above the previous high here, and I think actually we'll go much higher than that. So Solana has been an amazing opportunity, just one of the most certain opportunities that you can have. And I've been saying all along, since the very first show we had, that Solana is the one to watch. In fact, it goes up more than others and goes down less than others. And we're going to look at some comparisons shortly just to see that. So we'll look here, first of all. What I'm showing here is from the recent bear market low. This was the FTX crisis. and we saw the low in Bitcoin of about 15,500. So I'll flip through these fairly quickly, not knowing quite how much time we've got, but Bitcoin from the low point, the 15.5 low, to today's price. I did this only a few minutes ago, 67.2. It's probably gone up a touch since then. But anyway, that movement from the bear market low on Bitcoin, we've seen 332%. That's over about 16 months worth of price movement, 332%. So absolutely phenomenal move we've seen there to new all-time highs here. And I strongly suspect this candle here is actually basically some kind of hammer candlestick. We had what's called a doji here, just a bit undecided, followed by a hammer candlestick telling you there's going to be more upside to come. And I believe that's what we're going to see. We're going to see new all-time highs yet again on Bitcoin. But even to date, as I say, 332% from the bear market low. So I'm going to run through the top 10 tokens here just to see what they've done from the bear market low. And then we'll look at we can look at them in turn, we'll look at the overall average, look at what you could have done with the portfolio. Just it's really interesting, as I know Bruce and David are always talking about the opportunities within crypto. And we'll look at what a typical crypto portfolio could have done. We're not saying everything should go in crypto, but we will show you what the crypto aspect of your portfolio should have done at least, or could even done better than what we're about to show you. So here's Ethereum, again, from the bear market low here of 870 odd, somewhere around there. And we've seen the movement up, and then looking at the movement up to today's price here, the movement has been 295%. So a fraction below Bitcoin. If we get Ethereum approved as an ETF, I suspect Ethereum will rocket and actually overtake Bitcoin here. But that is a little bit in doubt at the moment, because Gary Gensler of the SEC is saying that Ethereum should be classed as a security. He's saying because it's a proof of stake and you have validators and the validators are rewarded, they're saying effectively it's a security where you gain return. And that's why he's saying it and many others are securities. So that, I think, is what's possibly been holding Ethereum back a little bit. But if it does get the go-ahead, then Ethereum should absolutely rocket. But even so, it's still done 295% in about 16 months. So a phenomenal investment. BNB is the next one, and we're looking at these in turn by market cap. So we'll go through the top 10 quite quickly by market cap. And I'll try and rush through them. So here we have BNB, as I say, this is the Binance coin, which is basically shown from the low, from the bear market low. It's actually risen 216%. So a little bit less than Bitcoin and a little bit less than Ethereum as well, but still very, very good. If you could have done 216% on your investment portfolio in 16 months, I'm sure you'd be very, very happy. So Solana, this is the real standout one of them all. I've left a few little chart indicators on here, but anyway, I've done the measurement correctly. So from the bear market low to the current price today, and in fact, it's gone up more since this, that has done, so that was, it's about that level anyway. So that has done 2,510%. So 2,510, 25x from the bear market low. Absolutely amazing. So Solana has done almost 10 times what Bitcoin and Ethereum have done, almost, maybe not quite that much, but it's been the massive standout token of them all. And this is what I was saying, Solana moves more than the rest. And it's actually one of the real bright coins that, looking to be the retail chain for the future. We had our friend Eric on the other day talking about the amazing updates coming on Solana. So I think the future is really bright there. So we just jumped over to XRP here. And again, XRP has been very much more choppy. And we can see, though, from the bear market low to the current price, we're actually up 119%. So you've still more than doubled your money in the last 16 months. So still an absolutely amazing opportunity and investment there. So Doge, I think this is one of Bruce's favorites.
Of course. The dog.
So doggy coin. So from the bear market low around about that time. And I've taken the bear market low wasn't quite the same for all tokens, but it's there or thereabouts. So taking a low price on each token round about that bear market low. to the current price, and we're here up 248%. So really, really, really good performance there. Once again, 2.5x your investment. Very, very good return there on Doge. ADA, so Cardano, again, some phenomenal performance there, 194% from the bear market low to the current price, and still expecting higher to go. This looks corrected down, so still expecting higher to go on this and all of the other tokens. So AVAX, Avalanche, an amazing one. Again, from the bear market low, this has been one of the bigger performers. Still only about 1/5 of what Solana has done, but still amazing performance, 500% from the bear market low to today's price. And once again, expected to continue higher. So TON, this is actually that one that I think was spawned from Telegram, wasn't it? Not been around so long, so it's not got quite such a long price history. Still done 175%, but it's only in a very, very short period of time. So that has been an absolutely amazing performer. I'm just trying to look how long that's been. It's been very, very limited period of time that's been out, and it's done 157%. So again, one of the favorites, SHIB, is actually, yeah.
But when SHIB moves, man, I'll tell you what, it's like boom. Look at those green.
Absolutely. Just look at these green candles. As you say, when it moves with a passion, doesn't it? So
it really does.
Absolutely. So we've seen from the bear market low there or thereabouts, we've seen 438%. So all of the tokens, I think the worst we've seen is still well over 100%. So you've more than doubled your money on the worst token out of the top 10. The best token, you've done 25x plus on your money. So amazing. So I've just summarized today's. So here we can see Bitcoin 332%, Ethereum 295%, BNB 216%, Solana, the amazing one, 2,510%, XRP 119%. It's a laggard at the moment, but you know, so XRP is one of those tokens which, when it takes off, it can really take off. And let's just see what happens there. So hold your breath on XRP. It could actually explode at any time. You just don't know. To the upside, I believe. Doge, 248%. ADA, Cardano, 194%. Avalanche, 500%. TON, 157%. And SHIB, 438%. So that's a total for them all of 5,009%. But if you had an equally weighted basket of cryptos, you just put $100 into each, basically your average return would have been, so you'd have $1,000 basically, your return would be 501%. So that means if you'd invested $1,000 across 10 cryptos at the bear market low, $1,000 would now be $5,000, and I assume you'd be very happy. And $10,000 would be, you know, 50,000 and so on. And $100,000 would be $500,000. So, you know, that's the kind of opportunity that there is. But having said that, if you use the eBay efficient frontier to actually balance your portfolio in the most possible, theoretically most possible efficient way, to balance them in the correct proportions, then you'd have not only got higher return, you've actually got higher return with lower risk. So there's some real benefits to using, you know, the best technology to structure your portfolio. I'm just going to touch, I think almost finally, this may be finally, on Aptos. It's actually been one of my tokens I have held in the past. I don't hold it at the moment, but it actually looks quite interesting. I think from the all-time high, I think we had an A wave down. I think we're working on a B wave up, which itself is made of A, B, and C. So I still think it's got quite a lot higher to go, like the rest of cryptos. But then I think, if I'm right in saying this isn't a B wave, then we would have lower to go after that. So I do think that Aptos definitely has higher to go, but it's kind of maybe a barometer or a canary in the coal mine for the rest of crypto. I do think, like we showed with Solana, definitely there's higher to go, probably to challenge new all-time highs for Solana, and obviously much higher for Bitcoin and so on. But I think following that, we'll get at least a decent pullback, because that's what the market is telling us. That's what the charts are telling us. And I remember there is one other I wanted to look at, ICP, because that was that amazing one which got to an all-time high of somewhere around $600, wasn't it? Then it had that big, massive collapse. But
all the way
from the
down to
low,
like $4 or $3 or something.
yeah, it's $2 something, wasn't it?
284. Is that what that chart says?
Yeah.
From
So
600.
yeah, that's right. So it's been one of the biggest fallers, but there's not a lot of reasons behind that. It's not necessarily that there's anything wrong with the token. It's
Right.
actually, I think, hyped a lot by FTX before the FTX crash. I think they hyped the futures on ICP a lot and pumped the price massively, and that just basically set it up for a big fall. You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall, and it fell really hard. But it's not. I think it's a great token from a technological perspective. And from the low, from the bear market low, it's one of the better performers at 482% from the bear market low. So I think that's,
Yeah.
and again, potential for quite a lot more upside there. So same as all the
great
tokens.
point, great community, great tech.
Absolutely. All round,
For sure.
I think ICP is looking good. And we've just beaten these, just exceeded these previous highs. And that's always a sort of overhead resistance level. We just broke through it. So actually, I do see it. Technically, it should actually go quite a bit higher. And yeah, that's basically a summary for today. So overall, I do think, I'm just going to go back to, I think, Solana, my favorite one. Overall, I do think we've definitely got higher to go, because on Solana, we've got in red from the bottom, wave 1 up, wave 2 down, then wave 3, which is not yet complete. I still think we have higher to go to complete wave 3, but that's made up itself of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I think we probably have higher to go to complete that 5th wave in blue, which itself is a 3rd wave in red. Then we have a fair pullback to come probably, but then we should have another push to new all-time highs, substantial all-time highs. Could be much higher. This is actually the logarithmic scale on this chart, so you can see that it could go much, much higher. And a lot of these tokens, I remember BNB when it was nothing, it was just a few dollars, and you can't even imagine as high, how high they can potentially go. And I think Solana could be one of those, especially, with the information that Eric shared with us the other day. I do think there's potential for much, much higher with Solana. It is one of the bright spots, I think.
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, when you think about BNB, where it came from, I mean, it took a while to get there, but I mean, it's massive.
Absolutely, yes. Yeah, the potential is absolutely amazing.
Yep. Pretty interesting stuff. Yeah, I think it could fairly easily go to 1,000. It looks like to me. I mean, yeah, who knows? But there's just so much being built on it.
Yes, it's true. We dropped Matt there. Maybe he'll queue back in.
Matt's like, I'm done. That's it. I'm out of here. That's funny. Yeah, it's I mean, these guys, these coins, and when I talk about the monetary revolution, and actually he was working on the logo and stuff for the show, the Impact Money show, it's a monetary revolution. And it is a revolution, guys. And this fiat monetary system that they have us on, that we've just accepted, this paper money, is absolutely crazy. And that's probably why they keep kicking Matt off. I can't see you, Matt. Looks like Matt's having difficulties. We have shows that he's here, but it's just a white screen.
Yeah.
Well, if you can hear me,
all right. I just added you in. Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Well, anyway, I hope that was interesting today. I need to leave for a meeting anyway, so maybe it's just providential that my screen is black. So
the gremlins, in the code.
Thank you so much for having me. It's been a really interesting day. It's good for me to look at that, and just shows you the potential for crypto. So crypto should only be a small part of an overall portfolio, but if you can get 500% just by averaging out your tokens, then it's amazing. So thanks for having me today. I hope it's okay to leave a little bit early. As I say, I've got a meeting I've got to join right now.
Thank you, Matt. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Bye, everybody.
See ya.
Cheers.
So 500%, guys, 500%. If you put 100 grand in this just the overall market into the blue chips, you 5x'd. You have $500,000. If you put $500,000 in there, you have 2.5 million.
That's when you're officially a genius.
That's when you're a genius. That's how you feel when the markets are like this. You really feel like a genius.
I'm great. I'm never going down. This is gonna last forever.
This is easy. This is easy. I'm really good at this.
I told you to do it.
Something like ICP goes from $600 to $2.50. These are highly speculative markets, folks. Very highly speculative markets. But the truth is that, and we're always about the truth, that when you have the monetary revolution, when you have this printing going on, this out of control printing that we have, you really should diversify. We're not financial advisors, but you want to be able to not get screwed every single time. Every time that they put through one of these bills for $1.2 trillion, you want your portfolio, your net worth to go up, not down. Because if all you're doing is sitting in US dollars, it goes down. But if you're in Bitcoin, if you're in gold, if you're in these other types of things, it goes up. Pretty much across the board. And that's the way it works. And that was another reason why the CIA was trending, for days.
Yeah.
CIA is completely funded by the central banks. Central banks, very interesting situation. I know we're starting to get a lot more traction on LinkedIn as well, which is a lot of fun because I have a lot of my old government contracting buddies and stuff on LinkedIn. A lot of them don't say anything. They don't say anything. They just watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they know it's true. I mean, this system that we have here is out of control.
Absolutely. And thank God we're all connected here and we can figure it out.
Well, that's true. I mean, I'll tell you what, guys, think about if 9/11 happened now. And for the few days after 9/11, the CIA was trending.
Yeah, we got to see each other's videos and not just the replayed news cycle videos.
And then we got to see each other's videos and each other's point of views and not just the same videos over and over and over again.
Until you believe it.
Huh?
You saw the same videos over again until you believed them.
Right. And then you were okay with starting the TSA, starting the DHS, and passing the Patriot Act and the FISA courts, which have been used to absolutely take everything away. There was something slipped in. Hi, Atif. There was something that slipped in to this Atif, what's going on, brother? Into this bill from Congress that a lot of people aren't even talking about. And that is they have a stipulation in there that they can now go and grab people's arms. They can go and get your weapons. If they think that you're a threat.
Yeah.
That's in the bill. That's a threat. That's a threat. You're right, David. Well, because the thing is that who do they think are threats?
Yep.
They don't think that people coming over the border are threats.
Right.
Apparently, they think you're a threat.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty crazy. So with that bill, they can decide that you're an extreme threat or whatever. And I mean, this stuff has been coming for a while. They had this, I forget what else it was called, but they already passed some other law where if they think that you're unstable, they can come and get them too. Stuff is unconstitutional, folks.
Yeah.
And I don't know where it all ends. It's not looking good, though. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, you're supposed to be allowed to be left alone.
Well, not only that, but the reason why we have the right to bear arms is because of the government.
Yeah.
That's why we have the right to bear arms, because they knew that this was going to happen one day.
Mm-hmm.
Over and over again, probably.
Oh, yeah. It's been constantly attacked.
Constantly. We don't have the right to bear arms to go hunt. The right to bear arms to protect ourselves from an out of control government, and we also have a duty to protect ourselves from an out of control government. Now, I'm not saying we should go out there and start any mess or anything. I think I'm a very peaceful person. The monetary revolution is a peaceful revolution. We can take the power back from the central bankers. The central banking cartel has taken over our countries. You had all of these Republicans who voted for this bill because they're not scared of you. They're not scared of not being voted for. They kept the magic electronic voting machines. They kept the mail-in ballots. And so they're not worried at all. They're not worried. Why would they be worried?
Yeah. They don't even need a debate.
They don't even need a debate. You have a situation where you had a girlfriend that's a bartender a couple of years ago. She comes in, and now she's worth, $20 or $30 million. After making, a couple $100,000 for 3 or 4 years. And everyone just kind of shrugs. Oh, how do you think she's worth $30 million, folks? $20 million, whatever it is. The dollar bills is that paper money. If they had to give her sound money, if they had to pay her in Bitcoin, or they had to pay her in gold, tell you what, wouldn't be 20 or 30 million. You know why? There's a finite supply of Bitcoin, and gold is very limited. Gold and silver is very limited, so it has real value. Central bank print up whatever they want. It's a great business, they tell us. Central bank. This is a great business. We print money, and everyone believes it.
People believe it.
Yes. There's that. Central. I must have made X mad at me too over the weekend because they're hiding some of my posts. It'll take a few days to fix that. It was probably my post about the CIA and ISIS, which was started by the U.S. and Israel. Hey, listen to this. This is great. It's great business to be in central banking where you print the money and people believe it. That's Adrian Orr, the governor of the Reserve Bank of New Zealand, during a parliament meeting. Are you understanding the scam of the central bank? The Federal Reserve now, the U.S. central bank, I said.
The fiscal challenges, etc., that are there. So very focused on being cost effective. We actually fund ourselves and then work out what dividend is needed to pay. So we kind of work that it's a great business to be in central banking. You print money and people believe it. And
now, guys like David and I, we can really understand this probably more than most people because we're in crypto. And if you're in crypto, you understand it too. You print money and people believe it. Well, I mean, you do kind of the same thing in crypto, right? So we have an understanding more of maybe of how that works. Now, with a proof of work coin like Bitcoin or Litecoin or Global Boost, you have to mine them. Okay, so it's kind of like gold where you have to pay a certain amount of money to get those coins. So it's a little different. But a lot of these tokens, they just kind of mint them up out of thin air as well. But that is supported by the people. And usually there's a use or there's a finite amount or whatever. One of the reasons why Bitcoin has just skyrocketed up to where it is because they can't control it. So once the central bank figured out that they couldn't control it, they figured out that the only way they could control it was to make sure that you didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't have it, if all you're able to own is the paper ETF Bitcoin, then you can't do much. And if they want to take it away, they take it
starting
like that.
They're starting to make these moves. Of course, you saw it a lot in China and India that they've tried to outlaw it and make it where you can't have it. And now in Europe, they're proposing that you can't have your non-custodial wallets. You can't have possession of it. You can only say you have it on their documents where they're holding it, and you get the note, the debt note.
Yes, and a custodial type of situation where you don't have control, you can't do it. Now, didn't that pass $3,000 or something like that? You can only send 3,000. I'm not.
Possibly true. I mean,
I think they passed it. So you're not in Europe now, in the Eurozone. You're not supposed to send. I think it passed over $3,000 worth of crypto.
I mean, why not? You can't even buy a Gucci purse for $3,000.
Can't even buy a Gucci purse, he says. What kind of scam is this? Well, they don't want anybody to have, any. And here's the thing about that, folks, is the part that it should be so offensive. Well, first of all, it should be offensive, period. I can't find the video I want, so I'm not going to worry about that. But it's the central bank who's doing it. Just like inflation is a tax and the central bank is taxing you. Well, the central bank is also making it where you can't really use crypto. I mean, how can you, if you can't send more than $3,000 from a non-custodial, from your own holdings that they don't have control of? And what is that? That's a central bank cartel with their claws in you. It's actually, we were on our brother chat, and I said, in the end, we might need all these migrants to help us. It might blow up in the central banking cartels and the New World Order's face. We might band up with the migrants, overthrow the central banking cartel together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, as more and more people understand what's going on, they definitely are tending to join the lighter side here.
There's the light side, and there's the not light side. May the force be with you. Interesting. Another interesting thing. I'll tell you what's going on right now in the metaverse space, in the advertising inside the different metaverses. And when I say metaverse, it's pretty interesting because Roblox is like taking off. The advertising inside Roblox and the amount of people in Roblox. I mean, like I was talking, like my daughter, she wants to put that. She asked me at least maybe once a week. She wants to get Roblox. Dad, let me get Roblox. And we were going around the world. We're building metaverses inside of metaverses, and we're doing this, we're doing that, we're pushing these metaverses, and there's hardly anybody in these metaverses. And then you have Roblox. Hundreds of millions of users every day. And they're building and building and building and all this stuff. And it's funny because that turned into the space. And it'll evolve and there'll be other parts of it. But Roblox is really taken off. I have my hands on a few things in there that we're gonna come up with. But you have a massive amount of people in there. And that's basically that's where people are experiencing the types of things in the so-called metaverse the most. Roblox, and of course Fortnite and these other ones, but Roblox is the big one, man. The kids love it. The kids love the Roblox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, fun game.
It's a fun game. And at least not running around killing each other and stuff like we do in the real world.
Oh, okay.
I said at least not. Yeah.
Well, there's all kinds of different versions of the game.
Oh, really? We'll see. I don't know. So maybe they are. Anyway, All right. Well, another great show, David. We're going to be this week's going to be pretty interesting. Of course, I'll be on two sides. I will actually be joining David over in Europe in a few days. We won't be together at that moment, but we'll both be on European time. It's no more of this 5 a.m. stuff. Texas time for me. I'm going to be nice and easy at 10 a.m.
Right.
Yeah.
There you go.
Nice. Looking forward to it. Thanks, David. And we will see you guys in 5 hours right there on your Smart Money Culture TV network, streaming live.
That's right. Stay tuned to.
Your voice is powerful. When combined with social engagement, it's a force for change. Decentralized media paired with free speech is the catalyst for an empowered world and a unified, invaluable ecosystem. Join Global Boost, become a champion of free speech, and help to reshape the future of media.